Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home.
Today we are going to talk about spare parts for your vintage cigarette lighters, and specifically today, spare parts for my personal collection of Cygnus petrol lighters. As I said in the previous video, it never really dawned on me to start a collection of a particular brand of the different lighters that were passing through my hands. The very first Cygnus that I had was a advertising model for Remington Rand. That lighter sat in my store for it seemed like it was at least a year. I know it was several months. I believe I had it listed for around $40, and I think it ended up selling somewhere in the neighborhood of $30 or $35. But at the time, it was a very nice lighter, but I really wasn't keeping anything. Everything was inventory at the time. There have since been some that have been moved over from there, but back then I wasn't keeping anything that was called my personal collection other than the original chrome Zippo that I bought and an item or two that had been handed down to me from family. Once I got serious about collecting Cygnus lighters, though, then I ran into an issue almost immediately. When I purchased this heavy scroll work engraved Cygnus, it didn't have a fill screw. So I needed a gold tone fill screw to complete this lighter, what I believed to be a Cygnus and still do. Around that same time, I had purchased this emerald green with gold accents or furniture, however you would call that. And when I got it, the flint tube was obstructed. When I went to remove the long screw that holds the roller in place, this long screw right here, which is also gold tone on this lighter, it broke when I was pulling it out. So I needed a replacement, obviously. Two lighters needing gold tone parts, and I saw a buy it now for this lighter on eBay at, I can't remember now. It was listed under $20, and I think I offered them about 3/4 of what they were asking, and they accepted it. And I was very glad to get a hold of this lighter because it solved two problems for me. You can see there's the broken screw for the roller that I put back in to hold this one in place. So it solved that problem for this lighter. And then the fill screw. But this lighter is still a viable option to have those parts replaced and become whole again itself. I'm not real good at organizing things. I always try to pull off any spare flint springs or fill screws, those kinds of things that I come across. But I've got several of these kind of containers about that have some of those in there because I'm not real good about getting them all consolidated. And I think you're really better off to leave them in the lighter, especially if it's, well, you're better off leaving it in the lighter if it's one that you think you might need to specifically identify and it has some odd parts. If it's something like a Cygnus, then you're going to know immediately. This is another lighter that I bought for parts.
Didn't pay anything hardly for it, just a couple dollars. And this is unique to the Cygnus. I know we've talked about my Cygnus adjacent collection here, but in general this is unique to these lighters, sort of like the Cupid, unique unto themselves. They may be similar, but you're not going to confuse this with many others. You're not going to think that you might be able to use this in a Zippo or in any really kind of flip-top insert style lighter. So in that case, it really wouldn't hurt to pull them out, put them in something like this, because you know what it belongs to. But what I have done in general here is pull these out of lighters that were junk, lighters that were no good. They were absolutely junk, tanks broken, flint tubes busted, whatever it was. Then they come here. Otherwise, I leave them generally in their donor lighter and then deal with them from there. So to illustrate, I think what we will do today get that out of the way before I cause a mess. We're going to take the roller, the thumb roller for the flint tension mechanism, out of this Pan Am lighter and put it on the table lighter. We're just going to take our time here with this broad flathead precision screwdriver and get that screw backed out. We'll go ahead and remove that small thumb roller that is the actuating device on the flint tension mechanism on all these Cygnus lighters. And now we're just going to install it straight onto the table lighter. Same screwdriver, very deliberate, don't need to over tighten, just get it nice and snug. Now we would just need a table model size flint spring carriage to make this lighter functional. So the state of my personal collection is always changing. Until next time.